Dragon's Fury is a spinning coaster at Chessington World of Adventures. This is not just the best ride at this English theme park, but it's arguably the best Mauer spinner. I will explain why in this review. In the early 2000s, the Tussauds Group owned 4 of England's largest theme parks. In 2004, they added 2 separate spinning coasters from Mauer. One would be Spinball Wizard at Alton Towers. The other would be the subject of this video, Dragon's Fury at Chessington. Both would be custom layouts. This coaster would anchor a new themed area known as Land of the Dragons. This was primarily a kids area with fanciful theming and large play structures. Yet Dragon's Fury is more of a thrill coaster in my opinion. This coaster runs along the perimeter of the area. The green track blends in with all the trees, but the fire-colored vehicles really pop. All the interactions not only provide cool visuals on ride, but it provides so much kinetic energy to the area. Especially because the coaster has 8 cars, so you'll see one cycling past every 30 seconds or so. Despite all these vehicles, Dragon's Fury does not have the best capacity. It has a theoretical max capacity of 950 riders, which is respectable. This is possible if all the vehicles are in use, the continuously moving load platform never stops, and every car is fully loaded. But all 3 of these things never happen. 1. I usually notice at least 1 car not in use. 2. The continuously moving load platform often stops. I commonly see multiple cars stacked in the station. They cannot load them fast enough. 3. The vehicles are rarely fully loaded nowadays. This is because the coaster has a strict weight limit. This surprised me because I have not seen this on any other Mauer spinner. The only rumor I've heard, which again is unconfirmed by the park, is that one of the block zones is too short to stop a heavy car, hence the weight restriction. As a result, the cars can accommodate a max of 3 adults, and the riders together must weigh less than 300 kilograms, or 661 pounds. So not all families can stick together. So a group of 4 that could normally ride together instead puts 2 guests in one car and 2 in another, leading to a 50% reduction in capacity, and groups of 2 in general often are not paired up. Groups are weighed on a scale at the end of the queue. This is done right before you board, so if there is any delay, the station has to stop, and this happens frequently. When a group is flagged as overweight, they need to decide how they'll divvy themselves up and who will ride first. This is not instant many times. All these factors are why Dragon's Fury routinely is the longest wait at Chessington. It'll hit the hour mark on an average day, and it can go even higher on a particularly busy day. And this queue does not have much to look at, which is disappointing because the park has nice theming. Heck, there's a nice entry archway and a statue before getting into this queue. What are my tips to avoid the worst queues? 1. Head here immediately after the park opens. Now this only works if you're at the front of the rope drop crowd. Since Dragon's Fury is close to the main entrance, many people make this their first stop, and with its low capacity, that line will back up fast. 2. Hop in line right before close. Since a lot of kids leave early, the queue will likely be shorter than it was earlier in the day, and everyone is being pulled from the standby queue at this point, because there are no more ride access passes or skip the line passes being taken. 3. Purchase a reserve and ride skip the line pass. The lower tier costs 15 to 25 pounds per day. Your return time is equal to the posted queue, which is usually an hour. The higher tier costs 50 to 100 pounds per day. This grants you near immediate boarding. It is the best way to marathon this coaster. You merge right before the station and should be on less than 5 minutes. This coaster used to have a single rider line. It was available occasionally during my 2017 visit, but not consistently. Staff members would close it whenever it was too busy, but if you were lucky enough and caught it shortly after it reopened, you were often treated just a 5 to 10 minute wait. Others have said the single rider line was used sporadically throughout the years and has disappeared entirely post-pandemic. All signage has now been removed. I suspect the strict weight restrictions are the main culprit. it significantly reduced the cue's effectiveness. Adding insult to injury, Dragon's Fury seems to have a fair share of breakdowns. Perusing queue times, it seems to go down 1 or 2 times each day. My lone 2024 visit may have been on the extreme end of the spectrum. This coaster ran so infrequently that I was barely able to get any footage of it operating. The ride would repeatedly open for maybe 15 to 20 minutes before breaking down for 30 to 60 minute stretches. I had to run in the queue whenever I saw it operational. At least I could hear this coaster whenever I was running. It has an extremely loud lift hill, and apparently this coaster used to be even louder. I have heard they have quieted the lift motor somewhat over the years, and before the 2015 season, they filled portions of the track with sand to lessen the noise even further. As you approach the load platform, you can choose to sit forwards or backwards. I prefer to leave facing backwards. The cars don't start to spin until after you crest the lift, so this allows you to almost always take the first drop backwards. It is an absolute treat experiencing a sizable drop in reverse. The more important seating consideration is where you place the weight though. If you have an off-balance car, you will spin way more. Put the 2 heaviest riders on the same side, and chances are you'll spin like a top. And because of the weight limit, groups of 2 really hit the jackpot, because they can often sit on the same side with no one behind them. As with the other Mauer spinners, the seats are awkwardly low. Your knees will be noticeably higher than your lap. Then you are restrained by a T-bar. I find this a bit cramped, but it is bearable for me. Once dispatched, you move forwards and quickly climb the 51-foot or 16-meter tall lift hill. Once at the top, you have a curved drop to the right. The car is abruptly pulled down it. This has nice zip, especially because the vehicle will start to rotate on the descent. This is followed by a large horseshoe turn. This is much bigger than the ones on the SC2000 clones. It is as disorienting as ever being perpendicular to the ground, but even offers some light airtime in this case if spun upwards at the apex. Next is a graceful twist into a mid-course brake run. It is mild in terms of force, but it's fine if you're spinning at a decent clip. You then coast through a mid-course brake run without slowing down. This leads to a sizable, straight drop. With all the speed, you get a tiny pop of airtime, and it can even give a free fall sensation if you're facing backwards from the suddenness. You then twist upwards into yet another mid-course brake run. This time, there is a bit of a lateral kink from the profiling at least. Again, you don't lose much speed here. It is just a quick pause in the action. Next is a downward spiral around a tower. This is a fun visual, and the drop offers okay positive Gs. Without delay, you fly over a camelback. This is weird to see in a spinning coaster, but I like it. This too offers a smidge of airtime. Then the drop is very satisfying once again if you take it in any orientation but forwards. You then curve into another mid-course brake run. You may lose a little speed here, but not too much. This leads to a downwards helix. It offers decent Gs, and the cars are usually spinning at a good clip here. Next is an odd little booster lift. This is swift like the first lift, and the cars usually spin like a top here, so it's actually an exciting moment. If you carry that momentum into the following S-bends, and you usually do, they are quite disorienting. Otherwise, they can be sort of dull and awkward. Typically, my car is off-balanced and will spin non-stop from this point, which really helps the finale. This leads to a curved drop. It catches you off guard and has some okay whip. Then comes a double up. The first hump offers a little airtime. As you may expect by this point, this leads to another, you guessed it, mid-course brake run. Then there's a little swooping drop with some yank, and a quick twist into another brake run, except this one is actually the final brakes. This leads to the worst part of any Mauer spinner, the mechanism that resets your car so it's facing forwards. This violently slams the vehicle, but it's especially fierce if you enter the final brake sideways, because your car will require the most adjustment. brace yourself for this. It feels like a minor car accident. You then return to the station, ending the 1,706 foot or 520 meter long experience. That's not a lot of track length, but this coaster actually has a solid duration. There's roughly 1 minute of prime ride time. Sure, there are a lot of mid-course brake runs, but they aren't too disruptive in my opinion. Most are brief and barely slow you down, and they sort of fake you out. I kept on thinking this coaster would be over, but then it would have another section, and so forth. So this coaster's pacing ends up being pretty good, especially with the consistent spinning. Try for an off-balanced car if you want a more chaotic experience. Helping with the disorientation are the visuals. The layout passes a few different theme structures and all sorts of trees. They're all in close proximity to the track, which enhances the sense of speed and makes it harder to tell where you're going next. The last thing to know is that this coaster tracks very smoothly. That is usually the case with these Mauer spinners, and this one is no different. So what would I rate Dragon's Fury? I would give this coaster an 8 out of 10. This is a very good spinning coaster. I love the unique layout. It is rare having a spinning coaster that sprawls out like this. And the visuals along the way are great. Then the elements are good as well. I like the drops and horseshoe turn in particular. Then you have all the spinning, which makes the layout quite chaotic. And it gives this coaster a lot of re-ride value because you'll take the elements differently. The biggest con from a ride perspective are all the brake runs, but at least they're brief. But the biggest overall negative is the poor capacity. This can be a pain to get on, but it is worth it in the end because this is the park's best ride and one of the better spinning coasters out there. I would take this over any Gerstlauer spinner and a lot of the Mach ones too. And it's my second favorite Mauer spinner, just behind Vinjas at Phantasialand. The latter wins out for me because of its downright bizarre layout and all the tricks, but I could see someone preferring Dragon's Fury because it has the better drops. So those are my thoughts on Dragon's Fury at Chessington World of Adventures. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Do you like it as much as me? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.